feel like the end of the year is always definitely a little bit of like a reflective time of the year. Like we're thinking about like what do we want to bring into next year, what was working well this year. I think I was gonna film it for you guys, but then I kind of sometimes like it's like striking the balance between like sharing the things that I think will be helpful for you, as well as like honoring sometimes that like my own practices, like they're just my own, and like I don't necessarily want to put them out there on the internet, but I'll tell you what I did in case you want to go and do it for yourself. So what I did is I lit my ritual incense that I got from the store. The store is based in Victoria, but obviously they ship, and I wish like it's on my bucket list to go to this store because it's called Our Satellite Hearts, and the whole store is decked out like this pink candy store, but it's like a spiritual supply store. So they have like crystals, candles, incense, like books, like everything that you can imagine. And so I do like little hauls from there pretty often because they're just like such a good place to find all the things that you need, and I think they're priced reasonably well. So it's kind of like a little bit of a one-stop shop. So they have I was on like a real big incense kick this winter. Like I loved incense, and they have an incense and it's called the ritual incense. So I like lighting that if I'm ever doing like intention setting or like doing a little ritual. I love just like setting up the space with that, and then I like sage the space. I used some Palo Santo, just got like into a really good vibe. And then so what I did is on like a bunch of little sheets of paper, I wrote down all the things that I wanted to let go of this year. And I did this in on the solstice, but you don't have to do it on the solstice. Like of course you could do this at any point in time, and this is like, I guess you could do this in January. It doesn't really matter. Like obviously of course like you want to work with the energies, but also like I want to remind you that like you're a powerful creator, and like you can manifest at any point in time. Like you can decide to let go of things at any point in time. Like you don't have to only set intentions on the new moon. Like you can do this when it feels aligned to you, and like trust your intuition on that. But basically I wrote down all the things that I wanted to leave behind in 2022 on these little scraps of paper, and I don't know how many I did, like 10 or something like that. And then as I wrote each one, I just really imagined myself like leaving that thing behind. Like I just sort of like visualized it in my head, took a little moment to like meditate and be like, okay, like this thing is in the past, we're not bringing this into 2023, like this is done. And then I ripped them all up, and then you could either like bury them or recycle them or put them in the bin, because you're just really releasing those things. And then on some other scraps of paper, what I did was I wrote down everything that I wanted to bring into the next year. And so I kind of wrote down my intentions for like the things I wanted to attract, things I wanted to manifest, wrote them all down in little scraps of paper, waved it through the incense smoke, and then I just sort of like sat there, and like as I did it with each one, I sat there and just really got into the feelings of having that thing, and just like really visualizing it and imagining like how that thing is going to feel when I have it. And then I took like all the little scraps of the things that I wanted to bring into next year, and I just put them in like I put them under a crystal. Actually I put it under like a citrine crystal. You don't have to do that, but I just put it somewhere that felt good to me, and I just put it like on a shelf or something, just to sort of remind myself every time I see it, like what we're manifesting, what our goals are, what we're bringing into the next year. And so this is a way that I really like to work with like the energetic as well as like the action taking, because a lot of the time I find we can be very like one or the other. Like people can be like, oh, I'm just doing the energetic work, why is nothing happening? But they're not taking action. And then the other side, the flip side of that, is people will be just like hustling, doing all these things, but they're not working on their inner world. Like they're not working on their inner beliefs. They're not taking time to like get into the energetic feeling and space of those things. So it's really where like the rubber hits the road for me, is like you have to be doing like the energetic mindset practices as well, but you also have to be taking action. Like you have to be doing things in this world. And I think cultivating that relationship with your intuition is really helpful for this, because you don't want to just be taking every action. You want it to make sense. You don't want to burn yourself out. You want to be intentional around like the action that you end up taking. Like you want to, like, I find before I do anything, it's like getting into a really good feeling space, like really anchoring those feelings in, because the only reason you want something is because if you think the feeling that you're gonna get, and you can feel that feeling at any point in time. And sometimes this feels like a big shift, and then you're like, Kim, how can I feel that way right now? But it's like we feel so many different feelings. Like you can find something else in the past where you felt that feeling before, and you can like bring it into your body right now. And the more you do that, and the more you get into that feeling and you take action from that place, it's really different energetically than you like doing a bunch of stuff but coming at it from a place of like coming at it from a place of fear, essentially. Like when you take action from a place of fear, it's usually not going to be the most aligned and well-intentioned action. And even like the way that this kind of like works with your nervous system is like when you're in like fight or flight and you're taking action from a place of that, you're not going to be taking the best actions for yourself. Like you're going to be very reactive. You're not really going to be pausing. You're just going to be reacting to things in the moment. You might take things on because you're scared that something better won't come through. So this is why it's important to do like the nervous system healing work as well, because especially when you want to manifest those new things, it's like it has to feel good in your nervous system. Otherwise it's going to be really weird for you when you get it. And like one of the examples I really think of this is like so many of the times when people like learn about manifesting, they're like, oh, I want designer bags, or I want like luxury items, or blah blah blah. But if they had that thing, their nervous system would be like in overdrive. Like it would be like, oh my god, I'm so scared. What if I lose this thing? What if someone steals it? What if I damage it? What if I break it? I can't imagine walking, oh sorry, that's my timer. I can't imagine walking into that store. So it's like you have to anchor those feelings of safety in your nervous system before you can attract like the next level of things into your life. Shaking a little while, but look. And some new little seedlings. I'm so excited for it to all come together. They look a little bit tired. I was doing some Googling apparently. Might have been watering them a little too much. So I'm gonna try and not do that and see how it goes. Oh my god, this is so exciting! I have been obsessed with this dress forever, so let's try it on. Oh my goodness, this is so cute, and it has pockets. I got it from Dish, which has been making really cute things at the moment. Like it's just so flattering, and like the bows are so cute. I'm super obsessed with this. I don't normally wear white, but in summer I feel like I'm okay with it. But it's just like such a cute, like flattering dress. Lately, I feel like because I wear so much like athleisure, like just all the time, every day, because I'm working from home most of the time, or I'm studying, so it seems kind of like it's just kind of functional. But lately I've been thinking, I'm like, it would be nice to just kind of like spend a little more on like pieces that I feel like are super classic and like or they're just like really good basics that are just gonna like last. And I feel like this is just super cute, and like you could wear it for so many things. So I've been eyeing it up on their website for so long, and I just think it is so cute. Like there's just so many things you could wear this for, and it's super comfy as well. Like the material is like a really nice linen. Like it's really like, it's like kind of a heavier one, like, so it's nice because not see-through or anything, but also it's just super cute and flattering. So I think I'm gonna wear it for my birthday, which I know that's a little bit far off because my birthday is February 1st, so we've got like another month and a bit to go. But sometimes you just, this dress is always out of stock too, and so when I saw it was on their website, I was like, oh, you know what, I think I'm just gonna get it. It's cute, and I'll be able to wear it for like lots of things, so it's a win. Hello everyone, welcome to my cooking show. Today we're gonna try and make some sugar cookies. I put the butter out because I think you're supposed to do that, but I'm looking at the recipe. I'm using one from Donna Hay. So hopefully it should be good, because it's definitely been a while since I've made any sugar cookies. So let's give this a go. I would say these are definitely not like healthy sugar cookies by any means, but I feel like sometimes I had spent like 15 years being vegan, and I had like an eating disorder when I was in my teens, and I was like really into, I would create these really restrictive diets for myself, like I thought I was in recovery, but I was kind of, I guess I was just trying to restrict my eating in a way that sort of felt good to me, and or like I just created a lot of rules for myself around what I could eat and what I couldn't eat, and I was eating only raw for a little bit, and like if you don't know, that's like where you don't ever heat your food above 118 degrees, so it really limits a lot of what you can eat. And I was vegan for a bit, and I was vegan for a long time actually. I was vegan for like 15 years. So yeah, I spent a long time eating very restrictively and having a lot of rules around eating, and probably, I mean, I would say I'd recovered probably fully from my eating disorder like a fair few years ago. Like, I'd say I'm quite far into my recovery, but in the last 2 years I unbecame vegan just because like I was really struggling with like chronic fatigue, and I guess I sort of like the urging of like my partner, I was like, okay, well, I'll try not eating vegan and see how it goes. And it was really hard for me at first. Like, it felt really weird. Eating meat was really weird. I was eating mostly fish at first. That was really strange for me. And but then I started to just like get a lot of my energy back, and I realized that like as much, and like please don't come for me in the comments, like this is not like open to discussion, like each to their own. Yeah, definitely, like it's such a touchy topic for a lot of people. Food always is, but it's kind of like eating vegan, it was kind of like the last thing of something being restrictive around what I ate. And now, even though most of the time I try and eat gluten-free, these aren't going to be gluten-free, but I think sometimes it's like I've gotten to a point in my life where I'm like, you know what, like if I'm gonna bake these cookies at home with love, with like good quality ingredients, like I'm gonna eat them. And for a long time when I was struggling with my eating disorder, I would bake tons of stuff because I was like obsessed with food, but I just wouldn't eat it. Like I was always reading like cookbooks, or I was always reading like food magazines. Like I was so obsessed with food, I just wouldn't eat it because I was so afraid, and because I was dealing with like issues around it. And I think now it's like if I've gotten to a point in my recovery where it's like it's okay to eat a few cookies that you made at home that have really good ingredients. It's like grass-fed butter, organic eggs, like all the things. Like I think for me that feels like really good. Obviously you shouldn't be eating cookies breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but getting to a place where I finally can like eat something like that and not feel guilty about it, like I can just eat a few and like that's enough. Like I wouldn't binge on them, like all the things that you do when you have like an eating disorder. And for me, like that's such a bigger achievement in itself, like finally getting to a place where I'm able to do that is like, it's huge for me. So pat on the back for me. And if you are struggling with an eating disorder or anything similar, like my heart goes out to you, because it's really shit. Like it's not a fun thing to deal with, and it can be very challenging to overcome it, because like unlike say like if you're an alcoholic, well the answer is like don't drink. But if you have an eating disorder, Like, you have to learn how to change your relationship to food, because you can't not eat. Like, you'll die very quickly if you don't eat. So it's like you have to get yourself to a place where you're okay with, like, you have to basically learn how to eat again and like change so much of your mindset around it. So if that's something you're going through, I feel for you on a deep level. And if you're watching along, I like using a kitchen scale because it's honestly so much more accurate for measuring, especially when it comes to baking. When, like, if you've like sifted your ingredients or not sifted, or things can measure in very different ways, or sometimes measuring cups aren't always accurate. So, I went through a phase for a couple years where I loved making sourdough. I'd make a sourdough every single week, and that's like one of the first things they teach you when you are learning to do sourdough, is like you have to use a baking or a kitchen scale to measure your flour. You can't just like measure it by hand, because you could be very off, and I checked it and sometimes it was very off. So fun fact for you, if your baking's not working, maybe try getting a kitchen scale. They're super cheap. They're only like a couple dollars at Kmart, so it will make a difference, I promise. They're finished. Some of them are a little crispy on one side of the oven where it's a bit hotter, but that's okay. Let's see. I was gonna like ice some of them, so I'm like, okay, I'll just eat them. It's a little bit sad. And see how it tastes. Those are so good. Yum. Butter and sugar. It's just the best combo.